You miss opportunities sometimes, and he did. So we'll see how this plays out for him next year.
Bro, I was so hot. I'm like, what the f? I had to cuss Dana ass out. He got a good mindset, but he's smart though.
They didn't tell anything yet to me, so I'm just still waiting, training, and trying to call out Ilya as much as possible.
Arman Tsarukyan has come out swinging, accusing Dana White and the UFC of overlooking him. At the same time, Arman Tsarukyan, while frustrated about being overlooked, also struck a surprisingly calm tone. He said it doesn't matter to him if Dana White and the UFC have other plans, making it clear he's willing to stay patient. According to Tsarukyan, he has no problem waiting it out and proving himself by fighting anyone they put in front of him until he earns the title shot.
The fight with Ilya?
Of course. I deserve it. I'm #1 contender, and they gotta give me this fight because I'm the next UFC champion. It's my belt.
I mean, I saw Dana White coming out and saying you will not be in line for the next contention for the title, and you're the #1 contender. I saw you also respond very respectfully, and you said, hey, listen, it is what it is. Whoever you give me, I'm going to go out there and kill and fight and do the best I can. Like, do you feel that they're making the right move, or do you feel like, hey, it is what it is, and you'll just take whatever they give you?
Yeah, I'm just if the boss say like okay, you gotta fight like 3 or 4 times, or I don't know like how much they want me to fight to be #1 contender again. But like I know like I'm the best in this division, and like yeah, for sure. I already told them I'm ready. September, October, I'm in shape. I train every day, twice a day, and I'm healthy now. So, but if they told me like October with somebody and then December with Ilya.
Adding to this, Mike Perry weighed on the situation, urging Dana White to cut Arman Tsarukyan some slack. Perry pointed out that Tsarukyan had been dealing with a back injury leading up to the Islam Makhachev fight, stressing it further during workouts. On top of that, he noted that Arman still managed to make weight as the backup fighter for Charles Oliveira in Ilia Toporia's fight, arguing that such dedication proves he deserves a title shot.
He was like, essentially, he's not even going to be up for the title fight, so who the knows what happened there.
It was that flexibility stuff I was talking about before. They're like, how did Arman hurt his back? Also, Arman, he's like, torque in his back. Like, no hurt his back. Dude's trying to bend upside down.
In response, Dana White responded to Tsarukyan's comments by acknowledging that the lightweight contender has the right mindset and is handling the situation the right way. Still, White made it clear that despite Arman's patience and willingness to fight anyone, he will not be the next in line for the title.
That being said, is it safe to say that he will now fight for the title next?
No, it's a good step in the right direction. Let's put it. But he proved, now that he's not fighting for the title, he was here as a backup fighter. He made weight, so it's definitely a step in the right direction.
Like, what are you going to kind of envision?
I don't know. He's not getting the title shot, so that means he's going to have to fight his way back to the title. You miss opportunities sometimes, and he did. So we'll see how this plays out for him next year.
Following that, Arman Tsarukyan revealed UFC has yet to disclose any details about his next fight and has kept him in the dark regarding plans. In the meantime, he explained that he is staying sharp in training while keeping the pressure on by consistently calling out Ilia Topuria.
They didn't tell anything yet to me, so I'm just still waiting, training, and trying to call out Ilya as much as possible. I mean, he feels that he's gonna lose that fight, and it's better to give the belt and then like go up or like wait when what happened with me, because he knows just I'm a big problem for him, and I'm gonna get his title. He knows that, and he wants to get easy fights with Perry or Gage or with someone, just make money and to defend. But with me, it's gonna be hard for him.
However, Rampage Jackson fired back at Dana White, saying that if Dana had ever spoken about him the way he does about Arman Tsarukyan, he would have been cussing him out non-stop. Jackson made it clear that he thinks Arman is being disrespected and that in his own era, he wouldn't have let comments like that slide.
And I want to show again, like, I'm #1 here.
Man, he got a great mindset. Yeah. If Dana would say some bullshit, I've been so mad. Like when Dana, like I said, Dana said about me, bro. I was so hot. I'm like, what the f? I had to cuss Dana ass out. He got a good mindset, but he's smart though.
Yeah, but he's treating Dana and the UFC with respect because they're behind him. So I like that. It shows his professionalism.
Yeah,
and hopefully they show him the same love. I mean, the UFC was behind you. I heard they sent someone down here to see you at midnight, right?
Yeah. The Dr. Hazard from UFC, one more doctor, and even Hunter came to my house. They were in my house like until like 2:30 a.m. and trying to do some PT and like do our best to bring me.
We hearing like crazy stuff about him. Like they got to tone him down because he trains so hard. Say that guy's a beast. Like he breaking everybody records, everybody numbers. Arman is a beast, and a lot of people say that he's the man that can steal the belt away from Topuria. And I was like, wow, they gave him that much praise. I was like, wow, because Topuria is the man, but they said Arman is a beast.
On top of that, Ilia Topuria dismissed the idea of defending his title against Arman Tsarukyan, saying he has no interest in that matchup. According to Topuria, Arman isn't reliable, pointing to his history of withdrawals and claiming that if the UFC booked the fight, Tsarukyan would likely pull out again.
Listen, when you put so much effort in the game and you have a guy in front who you don't know that maybe he could pull out from the fight, that's not something good for us. It's not on my back, bro. I don't care. They're gonna give him a fight before the title shot because there is no way. I'm the world champion. I'm never gonna give him a chance to fight for the title. I will be like, listen, if that's the case, take my belt.
Furthermore, Ilia Topuria went a step further by advising Paddy Pimblett to avoid fighting Arman Tsarukyan altogether. Instead, he urged Pimblett to target a matchup with Justin Gaethje, suggesting that a win there would fast-track Paddy to a title shot and effectively cut Tsarukyan out of the line.
So if he wants to assure his title shot, he has to fight with Justin Gaethje, because if he fights with Arman, I think that Arman's gonna beat him. So the easiest path he has right now to get the title shot is Justin.
Okay, thank you.
Stylistically.
Thank you.
However, Arman Tsarukyan fired back at Ilia Topuria's dismissal with a bold challenge, offering $500,000 of his own money if Topuria agreed to face him and managed to win. He stressed that he was willing to put his cash on the line to prove his confidence and readiness, framing it as not just a fight for rankings, but a personal wager to settle the debate.
Breaking, Arman Tsarukyan has reportedly offered Ilia Topuria $1 million and a car of his choice from his collection in exchange for a title shot. Will we ever get to that type of frustration for you, dude?
No.
No.
I don't know who said that.
So no big bets from your own pockets?
No, I can put the bets. I can put like $500,000 if he beat me. If I beat him, he's gonna give me $500,000.
That's big words right there. Paddy Pimblett ain't throwing numbers around like that. So
if he believes himself like 100%, he's gonna say yes.
But it is not just Arman who feels left in the dark. Paddy Pimblett revealed that fans constantly ask him when he'll be fighting Ilia Topuria, yet he has no answer since the UFC has given him no clarity on the matchup.
Paddy Pimblett, how are you doing today?
Good, I'm alright, lad.
And then I just have one request. Can I take a photo with you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it, okay?
Lad, thank you.
Yes, sir. Beat the Ilia Topuria, please.
I will, lad, don't worry. He's got my name on his Paddy the Baddy.
He admitted that this is the fight most heavily demanded by American fans and expressed hope that the promotion sorts it out soon.
It's nice I've been here, there and everywhere the last couple of months. Obviously back in the gym Monday. All I kept getting asked this weekend was who are you fighting, when are you fighting Ilia, when are you fighting Ilia? I have no idea. Hopefully it is going to be me versus the Chirizo next. And I think that's what all the Americans want, because every American I bump into keeps saying when are you going to smash that sausage's head in. I'm hoping that gets sorted, but I understand that I am at rank 9 or something, so other people probably are more deserving, but posh boy definitely isn't. Little rich boy Arman, showing how desperate he is, offering him £1 million to fight him. Spoiled rich baby, trying to pay the way out of things. That's why he quit when he was making weight in a bath like a little.
Interestingly, Khamzat Chimaev threw his support behind Arman Tsarukyan, saying he wants to see the fight with Ilia Topuria materialized. He emphasized the MMA is about finding out who the best truly is, and with both men being top names, the only way to answer those questions is for them to step inside the cage. Chimaev added that he'd be gladly seated to watch it all unfold.
We know you're kind of friends with Ilia too, and you know you're friends with Arman. Do you see them fighting this year?
I hope so. It's a good fight for the both guys. So fighting is, as me, it's like we need to know who is the best fighter in the world. So both guys is best fighters. So I will be happy to watch that fight. Yeah, it's like a crazy fight. Arman is good moves. Like he has a good kick, good wrestling, and the other guy has a good jiu-jitsu, a good puncher, you know, so it would be cool to watch how fight.
Building on that, Dan Hooker stated that if the UFC is not ready to give Arman Tsarukyan a title shot or a top contender, he's willing to fight him. He presented himself as the only one prepared to take the lead, adding that if Tsarukyan defeats him, it would put Arman right back in the thick of the title conversation.
Fight. Like, you could be calling for something
Who else has called out Arman? Name a single fighter like that makes sense. What? Gamrot, he's coming off a loss, you know what? But I'm the only guy that makes sense that's called his name. Like, the champion said that he's not going to fight him. No one else has spoken his name. He's the Voldemort of the lightweight division. No one wants to call the guy out because he's a prick too. Because he's just gonna whine and not say anything witty. He's no fun. He's like arguing with a blank wall.
In turn, Arman Tsarukyan responded by saying that while his priority remains a title shot, he's open to facing Dan Hooker if the UFC does not present him with another opponent. He emphasized that his focus is firmly on the championship, insisting he has earned the opportunity as the rightful #1 contender, and that a title fight is the only matchup that truly makes sense at this stage.
Would that be a fight you would take?
Yeah, if they're not gonna give me Ilya, I'll fight with Hooker. But my goal is title fight.
Okay.
And right now I'm just focusing on the title fight because I know I deserve it, and I'm contender #1, and so that fight makes sense.
So if you had a message for Ilya in answer to his argument about the belt, what would your message to Ilya be?
Just give up the belt and let me fight for my belt with somebody else.
Meanwhile, YouTube commentator Geeke weighed in on the situation, stressing that Arman Tsarukyan is fully justified in advocating for what is. He argued that Arman is the rightful #1 contender, yet he has been treated as little more than a nuisance, not only by Dana White in the UFC, but also by the lightweight champion and the rest of the division.
Me, and being that Arman is the rightful #1 contender that's currently being treated as some kind of a nuisance by not only Ilya, but seemingly the rest of the lightweight division as well, I think that he's fully entitled to campaigning for what's rightfully his. And sure, he messed up by pulling out of his fight against Islam Makhachev back in January, but that doesn't make Paddy Pimblett, who's barely in the top 10 and only fights once a year, the rightful successor. And when you take into account that Ilya already starts 2 out of the top 5 in Charles Oliveira and Max Holloway within the last year, the latter of which brutally knocked out the third potential contender in Justin Gaethje in 2024, Arman being the next challenger is a no-brainer.
Looking deeper, Geeke pointed out that if you follow the context clues, it's clear that Ilia Topuria was initially going to call out Arman Tsarukyan during the post-fight interview at Topuria vs. Charles. However, Joe Rogan invited Paddy Pimblett into the octagon instead, despite Arman being the official backup. Geeke noted that the whole situation seemed a bit too planned.
If we follow the context clues once again, I think what's actually happening becomes clear. First of all, after Ilya knocked out Charles Oliveira at UFC 317, he called out Arman Tsarukyan as the next opponent in his post-fight interview with Joe Rogan by referring to him as the guy whose back hurts when Rogan asked him who's next. But Joe ignored this and brought Paddy Pimblett into the octagon instead, even though Arman actually weighed in as the backup. Now, it could have been a mistake, but considering that the camera immediately panned to Paddy as soon as his name was mentioned, and the security actually helped him climb the barricade and guided him into the cage door, I'd say that the segment was at least somewhat pre-planned. I know he marches to the beat of his own drum a lot, but I just can't picture Joe Rogan spontaneously turning to the crowd and saying, let's see if we can get Paddy in the cage without being prompted to do so.
Later on, Joe Rogan walked back his actions, clarifying on his podcast that the fighter who truly deserves the next title shot is either Arman Tsarukyan or Justin Gaethje. He emphasized that strictly on merit, Tsarukyan is the rightful choice, and urged the UFC not to prioritize the marketability of an Ilia Topuria vs. Paddy Pimblett matchup over making fights based on who has actually earned the opportunity.
Arman Tsarukyan was supposed to fight Islam for the title, but got a back injury, supposedly because of the weight cut. He had a particularly brutal weight cut, and his back locked up to the point where he couldn't even fucking move. And so they had to call the fight.
Yeah.
And so then they brought in Renato Moicano, and he fought for the title, like last-minute replacement. So Tsarukyan is elite. He's as good as it gets, and he could be a world champion. And so if I wanted to do it according to not marketability, but rather like who deserves it, it would be either Gaethje or Tsarukyan.
How often does that come into it as opposed to the marketability?
I don't do that, man.
No.
That's the thing. It's like I'm not involved. I would not be the right guy for the business.
Yeah.
Because like I'm kind of a purist.
Paddy Pimblett expressed his disapproval of Arman Tsarukyan, claiming that while certain fighters in the division may deserve a shot at the title, Tsarukyan is not one of them. He referred to Tsarukyan as being desperate. Pimblett further suggested that since Justin is not keen on facing Tsarukyan, the most sensible matchup would be himself against Topuria.
Arman's irrelevant, no one cares about him. As I always say, I've got nothing but respect for Justin, but I keep seeing in interviews him saying he doesn't want to fight me. I think the only fighter makes me and Ilya. Seen Dan Hooker talking today as well. I used to like Dan Hooker, now you can eat. That is me, people.
However, Henry Cejudo criticized the UFC, stating that if the promotion books Paddy Pimblett against Ilia Topuria, it would demonstrate that the company prioritizes entertainment over upholding the integrity of the sport.
Handler, who is 7-2 in the UFC, gets you a title shot, then man, there may be Laurent's quote of the UFC being more of an entertainment company is that maybe that's what the UFC is a little bit more, and I think people need to understand that game. But rightfully so, I get it. We got to give Arman the benefit of the doubt. His back, he had back spasm. Maybe if you're not 100%, dude, you also don't want to sacrifice that world title. But I'm gonna ask you, Kamaru, and I get it, and let's get the bias of you and Justin Gaethje out, because you remember whether he did the UFC a favor or not. And again, dude, I'm boys. I don't just we're kids.
Interestingly, Kiel Sonnen pointed out that the only fighter Ilia Topuria has openly accepted to face has been Paddy Pimblett, while every other opponent he has fought in the past or is preparing to fight now has never truly been acknowledged by him beforehand. Sonnen explained that this is just Topuria's game plan, similar to how Anderson Silva used to operate, keeping fans in suspense and playing the guessing game and the will it won't it about his next move.
The only person that he's ever openly said I'll fight is Paddy. Everybody else that he's getting ready to fight, he denies. It's just his approach. Anderson had one. Anderson would always deny the fight. He'd let that run for about 2 weeks. He would then accept the fight. He would let that run for about a month. He would then slip an injury report to the media. Where you think the fight is off, it's not going to happen. He'd get his run out of that, and then he'd come out and tell everybody I'm fine and it's on. I'm only sharing. That was his system. 100% of his fights, he built the same way. Ilya is not any different whether he knows it about himself or not. But Ilya's first move when he's going to fight a guy, aside from Paddy, is to say, I'm not fighting the guy.
Ultimately, Arman Tsarukyan stands as one of the most talked about figures in the lightweight division. He has been praised by legends, supported by fighters like Khamzat Chimaev, and acknowledged by Joe Rogan as the rightful contender. At the same time, he has been dismissed by rivals and overlooked by the UFC's business choices. Whether he finally gets the title shot he is chasing or is forced to prove himself again, one thing is clear: Tsarukyan's persistence and presence will keep him at the center of the division's future. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and share. Don't forget to hit the bell icon so you never miss a beat, and we shall see you in the next video with more exciting updates.